Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. Do your own research. I'm never going to reach out to you either in the comment section or through any other means to try to get you to invest in something that I'm investing in or to send me crypto. Some links underneath the video are affiliate links. I may earn a commission, but this is at no extra cost to you. Of course, do your own due diligence. Thanks for going, everyone. It's Sam. Microstrategy just got really cheap. It actually fell below the value of its Bitcoin. I want to go through this, and actually I just filmed this video, but for some reason the audio didn't record. So I'm going to keep it nice and short here for you. We'll be going through what's happening in the broader markets as well, but we're going to focus on kind of what's happening with MicroStrategy, with Bitcoin. But if you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. I already ran the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, so I appreciate you guys sitting through that or skipping through it. You can always skip through that. If you do want to trade crypto, I think now is a great time to be trading. We have a great event going on at BYDeFi, which is in the link tree. So click the link tree and then click the second link down. BYDeFi, you can get up to $10,000 worth of Bitcoin just for trading on the platform. The more you trade, the more Bitcoin you get. And this is going on for 2 weeks, so you can trade over the next 2 weeks, get used to the platform, start trading, and get some of these rewards. We're going to do more of these in the future, and everyone that's ever signed up is participating. Everyone that signed up through my link is participating for free in this, so it's a great way of just accumulating some more Bitcoin. As you can see, the broader markets, right, traditional finance, down a little bit today, down 0.4%. Now, we'll talk about what Tom Lee gave as his prediction for the end of the year for the S&P 500 and for Bitcoin. We'll talk about that because he's changed his tune a little bit. But look at this, Bitcoin with the Bart Simpson head, right? Like straight up, straight sideways, straight down. Part of this is due to liquidations. We've seen nearly $1 billion liquidated on the long side. That's why I don't trade with excessive leverage, right? I'm not 100x trading or anything like that. I use low leverage because otherwise you do get wiped out if you're, you can get wiped out if you're using 100x, 80x, that kind of thing. And a lot of people do that. So be careful out there. MicroStrategy got really cheap earlier today. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings were worth $55.2 billion. They have debt of $8.2. They had a cash reserve that they built up of $1.4 billion. And then when you subtract this all out, the value of what they're holding after the debt is taken out, $48.4 billion. And their market cap went down to 45. Now, it's come up a little bit, so it's actually worth right around $48 billion when I'm recording this now. But it got cheap, right? It's it was costing 6% less on the assets that they hold, 7% less, something like that. So I actually got fairly cheap. This is where things get a little bit more interesting to me. I bought, I think, all my MSTR shares during the last bear market. And I didn't buy a lot. I said this in the last video, but it was just kind of extra cash that was sitting in my account. But now that's my best holding. And even with the recent drop, I'm still up 700, 800% on a lot of those shares. So if we go through another bear market and people are really stressed about MSTR, yeah, I might be accumulating some more. Part of this, part of the sell-off today in Bitcoin, I think, is due to this, and I covered this a lot more extensively in the last video. The MSTR CEO said that there is a situation where they would sell some Bitcoin, right? And if you're saying that's FUD or that's untrue or anything like that, watch the last video. It's actually true. He talks about it. I watched it. And this is not some deep fake, 3 seconds of Michael Saylor saying it. No, this is from an actual podcast, the What We Did podcast. Or what Bitcoin did. So that scared the markets. Again, in the last video, I covered why that's not really a concern anymore. Michael Saylor, though, announced this morning a USD reserve of $1.44 billion for dividend payments. Again, this reduces the likelihood that they'll ever have to sell Bitcoin. But some people don't like this. Right? Some people think that this means that they are a Ponzi. Ted Pillow says, look at this post from Saylor. I now declare MSTR is a Ponzi scheme. This could end really badly. Don't buy this crap, he says. Now, to be clear, a Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investment operation that pays earlier investors with the money from later investors rather than from any actual profits. Now, this somewhat fits. The thing is, part of being a Ponzi is you're not forthcoming with what's happening, right? That's part of it. But MSTR is very clear that they sold shares today. They sold shares, or over the last week, they sold shares to build up this USD reserve, which is then used to pay out dividend investors. So you're diluting to pay dividends to be able to buy more Bitcoin. So I'm not saying it is a Ponzi. I'm not saying it's not a Ponzi, right? I'm sure that there are various ways to look at it, but some people are just seeing this and saying, well, you're paying out old investors with new investors' money, right? But on the other hand, it's not necessarily new investors, right? You're selling shares, but if you were a shareholder already of MSTR, right, like you're just diluted because you're paying dividends, but you're basically doing that because you want more Bitcoin exposure. So like, it's interesting. It's interesting that this is so controversial, and I get it. On the other hand, some people are saying, this makes sense. This is unstoppable. Rajat Sony says MSTR can keep increasing rates on STRC to buy more Bitcoin as the rate goes up. STRC attracts more capital. Having a USD reserve allows strategy to pay dividends on STRC. No matter what happens to Bitcoin and MSTR, the flywheel will be unstoppable. Now, at the end of the day, they're basically just taking out loans to be able to buy Bitcoin. They're not really taking out loans. I shouldn't say that. They are selling equity, right, that has a fixed payment. They don't have to pay it, but it's basically fixed, right? They can raise it over time as well. But like they're willing to pay 11% because Bitcoin typically performs at 50%, right? So they're trying to make up the difference at the end of the day. So I don't know, as things get more controversial, typically it's a higher risk, higher reward play. So I'll be watching it. I'll be continuing to, hold the small amount of shares that I do. And if we go deeper, yeah, I might buy a little bit more, right? If we go deeper into a bear market or MSTR sells at a bigger discount, right? We also have the Japanese carry trade that's causing a little bit of fear in the market. Now, what did Tom Lee say about this? He said that he thinks that we're going to see the S&P 500 at 7,200 to 7,300 by the end of the year, which is about 5% move up. He thinks with the Fed cutting and quantitative tightening ending, that's going to be really good. And then he says Bitcoin could hit new all-time highs January of 2026. I don't know about you, but I'd be happy with that. I'm not so certain that we'll get there, right? But I'd be happy with it. I do think the market likes to cause max pain. And right now, people are starting to flip more bearish, which I think as soon as like the last bulls flip bearish, that's when we start heading higher. So I do think we are in a bear market, to be clear. I do think that's the case. I mean, I don't know how really anyone could argue with that exact statement because a bear market is, 20% correction or crash, which we're already there. But the question is like, is it a year-long bear market like what we've seen in the past, right? Like we can have small bear markets. Right? It's not like a bear market is necessarily a set amount of time, right? We're looking bearish now. We've been bearish for the last month and a half, or 2 months almost. So does it last 2 months? Does it last 6 months? Does it last a year? Does it last 2 years? There's no way of knowing. But I just dollar cost average today, right? I don't even think we're necessarily at the exact bottom, right? If we really are in a bear market, I think we could go lower. But I'm dollar cost averaging because I don't know the future and I'm not going to time it perfectly. If you want dollar cost average, right, you can do that. If you want to trade, you can check out the link underneath the video to BY DeFi. I'm still trading right now, but I have my schedule for how much I want to dollar cost average as well. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Thank you so much. If you want to check out BTCC or BitUnix, BitFi, BY DeFi, Blowfin, Weeks, there are links to all of them underneath the video in the link tree, and I have special promotions going with all of them right now, so you get extra stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all soon.